Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the paddock.
Riders up!
He's just perfect, and now he's just immortal! Justify as the 13th Triple Crown winner!
We're going to feature a street band as well as Sophie Doyle at the same time. Welcome to the show, Sophie.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having me on.
I'm so happy to hear you're doing so well lately. First of all, you're from England, and I have to ask one question. Have you ever seen the horse Frankel before?
Yes, I have done actually. I was actually fortunate enough to be riding at Ascot when he won on Champions Day. And as you can imagine, everybody that was riding there that day, we all came out of the jogstrom and went into the paddock and watched him walk around the parade ring there at Ascot. And just to watch him is just in awe of how he is. And you know, it's amazing for a horse that doesn't look very big to the eye, but when you see him out on the track and his stride,
it's different. That
stride is just enormous and just so wonderful, and it's just magical that we were blessed to be able to watch him race there.
All right, so the second question is Frankel the greatest horse to ever roam the earth?
Well, in English eyes, definitely. I think with the story of Sir Henry Cecil and what he achieved with him with what was happening with Sir Henry when he had the cancer, it was a magical story that he was a part of Sir Henry's life and what made him keep going every day and until his last day after Frankel retired.
There must be a movie by now of Frankel, or it has to be in the works. Wouldn't you imagine?
Oh, definitely. You'd have to. I mean, it's just the story of Frankel and Sir Henry Cecil together and what Frankel achieved. Right. It's just a magical story, and it's a proper racing story that would be great for any racing fans and probably entice new fans into the sport.
Well, over here in America, you know, we would have to pull for Secretariat. However, Secretariat lost quite a few races. I think you'd have a formidable argument of Frankel over Secretariat. Even though we love Secretariat, there's been many great horses. I only discovered the horse only about 2 months ago. A caller called in and said, you need to feature Frankel. And we did it, and I had never heard of the horse. Can you believe that?
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's crazy.
But I've watched every single race now.
Unbelievable.
I'm a fan, and I would have to concede. I would have no real argument that he's just the best of all time. I mean, there was only one time that I remember he had any competition at all, just one race. That was amazing.
Fantastic.
So what we want to do is feature Street Band, and we'd like you to talk about Street Band. And horses, I've been told, have different personalities, every single one of them. So tell us about Street Band and what Street Band has done for your career, and how did you discover horse racing, and how did you end up in Cajun country in Louisiana?
Well, I'll start off with I got into horse racing first through my mum, Jacqueline Doyle. She was a trainer. She'd been a part of horses her whole life, and when she was a young child and grew up with show jumpers, and then got into point-to-pointers over fences, and then she started training, and then naturally when I came along, I was pretty much born on the back of a horse. I have a picture of my mum and I when she is jumping over a steeplechase when she's about 2 weeks away from having me.
So you literally, you're not just playing. That's not an expression.
No, she literally, I was pretty much, could I have been born on the back of the horse? Very possible.
But,
and she's,
but it's just an act of God that you actually are under the weight to be a jockey, right? I mean, couldn't you have gone to be, 5'9", 5'10", something like that?
I could. It's possible because my father is actually he's 6'2". My brother is 5'11", and my other half siblings, they are all over the 5'6", 5'8" bracket. So and I drew the short straw.
You're the only one?
5'1".
5'1", the only one? Yeah. Wow, that's just amazing.
The only one out of 5 that got the short straw, that I was the shortest, so it was pretty handy. But even the same with my brother James, he's 5'11", but the difference is he rides in England, so he can make the weight. If he was here in America, he wouldn't be a jockey, I imagine. He'd
All
probably be
right.
doing
So you were
something
born
else.
on the back of the horse. So let's continue on from there. I was really
Yeah.
enjoying the story.
Yeah. I rode in England I became a jockey in England. I rode there for 7 years. I spent 2 winters in Dubai racing through the winter months. And then I started to make my way out to America. And I started off I flew out to Santa Anita, and I did that for 2 years running. I spent 2 winters of 3 months each out in Santa Anita. And then the third time I was there, I decided, you know what, I think this is where I'm meant to be. I think I'd like to come over here and be over here in America. So I flew back home, said to my family, look, I think I'm going to leave and fly back to America and move my tack over there and have a career in England. And they were just like, are you sure you want to do this? That's a pretty big, bold move. And I knew in my heart that if I really wanted to make a great career for myself and enjoy my career as much as I can do, then I felt like I just needed to make my way over the pond and establish myself here in America. Mm-hmm. And ever since I have done that, I've been all over America right now. And as you know, now I've made my way down to the fairgrounds for this will be my 4th season of flying my trade down there. And in the meantime, I spend my time divided between being in Kentucky and going to Chicago at Arlington.
All right, so how did you get to the fairgrounds in Louisiana? Was there people that you knew, small town atmosphere?
Well, I decided to make my way down to the fairgrounds. Obviously, the number one reason that stuck in my mind is that Rosie Napravnik had a very successful career riding down here. I mean, she was very well established, but also they're not opposed, obviously, to riding the female, and they give the girl a chance. And Rosie paved the way down there, so I figured, well, I might as well take my shot and go down there and see what we can do. And it's been fantastic. Every year we've been growing a bit more and getting into some nice barns. And, of course, it was a wonderful way to get a good introduction with Larry Jones. The partnership that I struck with him has been very well throughout the whole year, and I'm looking forward to going into another season at the fairgrounds with riding with his team and the nice horses that he has.
All right, well, look, we're going to go to a break. Can you hold over just for a few minutes so we can continue the story and get to Street Band? All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
This is Discovering Horse Racing, WGSO 990. We'll be right back with Sophie Doyle. All right, welcome back to Discovering Horse Racing, and that's what we're here for. I only discovered the sport about 5 years ago watching a Secretariat video. But here we have someone that was born in the saddle. Welcome back, Sophie.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to play something real quick, and we'd like you to comment as soon as it's over, all right? Here is Sophie Doyle and the Louisiana Oaks.
Twinspires.com, Fairgrounds Oaks of 2019, and there she goes. Serengeti Empress straight to the lead for James Graham from Slew Good to Be True, and Leora moves up on the outside as they enter the first turn, where Serengeti Empress leads here in the early stages. It's Serengeti Empress, the leader by a length and a half to Slew Good to Be True. Leora joined toward the inside by Street Band as these fillies go to the back of this historic New Orleans track. A break of 2, Sweet Diane next in 5th. While racing 5 clear from the trailers, Speedette with Eris 2. The quarter for Serengeti Empress in 24.12 seconds, 5 furlongs to go in the Fairgrounds Oaks. And it's Serengeti Empress, and the pace is solely hers. With James Graham, it's Serengeti Empress who leads by a length to Slew Good to Be True, who stays focused on the front runner there for Florent Giroux. Leora and Street Band right there toward the rail racing a joint third. Sweet Diane is 6th from the leader, going past the half-mile pole. The trailers, Eros 2 and Speedette is running 7th. The half-mile for the Rachel Alexandra winner, Serengeti Empress, was 47.48 seconds. They have 3 furlongs to go. It's Serengeti Empress. Leora now strides up for Channing Hill to take on Serengeti Empress. And Leora looms just in front of Serengeti Empress. Street Band, Sweet Diane. Slew Good to Be True has dropped back. Wide Speedette is picking up on the front outside. Toward the inside is Eris 2. And Serengeti Empress has dropped back to this filly field. It's Leora with 1 more furlong to go. Street Band charging hard on the outside. And here's Street Band to take on Leora. Then Sweet Diane and Eris 2 with Sophie Doyle. Street Band has taken the lead in the Fairgrounds Oaks, and she's edging away. Street Band at 10-1. Street Band won by 3.
What a fantastic day. So tell me, how does it feel to beat Serengeti Empress, the winner of the Kentucky Oaks?
That day was pretty special. That it brought to light everybody about Street Band and what a great filly and fantastic filly she was about to become and do for the season. I would honestly say that it was very humbling though beating Serengeti, because unfortunately she didn't perform up to task as she did in the Rachel Alexander when she did beat us. She unfortunately had the scenario where she bled in the race, so that stopped her in her tracks when she was running.
I didn't realize
so
that.
So it was kind of, if I go back to the Rachel Alexander where I was the only one turning for home, that was right on her tail, and I was so close that I kind of chinned her shoe when I returned for home in that race, and we couldn't get to her that day. But the next day, it was almost like an identical run race again with Serengeti in front, and I was tracking in her path because I knew that my filly was a bit stronger. It was just unfortunate when we started to turn for home, and as I saw Serengeti starting to reel back towards me, I said, that's, something's amiss there, that she fights and pulls away. So we just tipped out and came around her, and Leora was a really nice filly, and she performed all season, and she actually finished, I think she was third in the Kentucky Oaks. She was right there with them. So there were some really nice fillies that we ran against that day. And Street Band will put a scratch through the Kentucky Oaks because it just wasn't our day, and as she's known to getting pretty hyped up, but it was just too much for her on the day with all the parades, coming over from the stables, parading on the track, and then coming into the paddock there where it's pretty small there for such a large crowd that's going on. She just wasn't quite there maturity-wise yet to take it all in. But now, she's grown up. She handled the Breeders' Cup really well. And, of course, each race that she's gone to now, she keeps maturing and getting better and better. And she's a filly that's starting to mature-wise. She's handling every race better, and she's performing unbelievable almost every time.
Yeah, I love the name Street Band. It just reminds me of New Orleans and those bands that play out in the street. You have a distinction as being the first female jockey to win the Indiana Oaks. So we've got just the beginning and the stretch calls, real short. And maybe you can comment on that.
Sure.
And they're off in the Indiana Oaks. Looks like a pretty good start. It's Kid K who sends up for the lead and has with 1 lap to go. Jack Left. Outside, inside. Sundays at the beach is in second. Kid K goes back in third. Chocolate Kiss is outside fourth. But with the 16th to go, and it's Street Band. Street Band and jockey Sophie Doyle.
The crowd was so loud you could barely hear. So what did it feel like for that one?
That felt fantastic because not only winning that race with Street Band, but also it was a local track that I used to ride at all the time. So when we made our way back, it was nice for the local people to watch a local jockey that had been riding there, and they've all been a part of this journey, watching us every time that we've gone out to race. So when I came back to the winner's circle, I had all my friends that I had already took up to the race meet with me up to Indiana, but I also had so many local people that were at the track cheering us home and were there to congratulate us afterwards. So it was really nice and humbling to see people and, people that I'd worked with, trainers that I had already ridden for previously for a number of years, it was nice to come back and remember where you came from and where you're about to start heading in your career. It was, the Indiana Oaks was a pretty sweet win, that's for sure.
Wow, you really have been all over the country. Yeah. All right, so now we've got one more race, and we'd like you to comment on that one.
And they're off in the Cotillion Stakes. Race beginning for Serengeti Empress as she flashes her speed on the inside. Horologist Garada close up. Jaywalk is forwardly placed from the outside. So into that first turn, it's Serengeti Empress with Jaywalk alongside. Garada settles back in third. Horologist a good spot on the inside. Fourth, Bellafina has gotten good early position on the outside. Then it is farther back this week. Sammy D. Geltrin to the inside. Will go to the backstretch about 8 lengths off the lead. Then it's a Fleet Destiny, Collegeville Girl. Street Band has only 1 horse beaten right now, and that's Long Shot She Makes Me Smile. Very fast quarter, 22 and 3, and Jaywalk has made the front. Jaywalk 3/4 of a length. Bellafina will track her on the outside. Serengeti Empress is covered up. She's third at the inside, just better than 2 lengths off the lead. Garada in a good spot. She's fourth on the outside and again edging up now within 2.5 after a strong half of 46-1. So it's Jaywalk. Jaywalk to the far turn, just a neck in front. Bellafina now comes up on even terms. Serengeti Empress trying to get out from in behind those two. Garada got first run on Serengeti Empress. Horologist trying to get involved now. It's Bellafina. Bellafina has taken the lead with 5/16 to go. Garada now right at her neck. Horologist is in with a chance. Serengeti Empress still trying to find some way through. They come to the top of the stretch, and it is Garada. Garada has taken the lead. Straight Band has made a big move on the far outside. They're coming down to the final furlong. Garada, here comes Straight Band on the outside, and Straight Band has come from far back to take the lead. Garada now second, but Straight Band is beginning to move away, and this will be a signature moment for Straight Band. She's 7-1, and she's got it. Straight Band wins the cotillion just over.
Wow. I always wanted to record the thunder of all those horses running like that. I think that's the most impressive thing about it. Tell us about that one. We've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay, so the cotillion was just, it was incredible. It was an amazing day. It was just unreal. And I have to say that when we broke from the gate, that wasn't quite my plan to be that far back, but we did know that there was going to be a lot of pace on in the race. Serengeti and Jaywalk were probably going to take each other on. Bellafina was going to be right there because she had blinkers on first time. I just knew, I said, well, the pace is going to set up. And when we broke all together out the gate, and I didn't take my filly back, but I didn't send her either. So the race just kind of set up naturally, and the best thing that I did for Street Band was I didn't take her running style away from her. When you go back and look at her fractions after the race, her fractions were the same as every other race she's ran. We made the right move there and just had to be confident in where we were. And once we started moving down the back and we just started picking off horses, she really got confident. And then when we were finally turning for home, she was right behind Horologist, who I picked actually out as probably one of my long shots to be on the board. She had been doing really well, and especially stretching out really suited her. So I tucked in behind her around the turn. And then when we turned for home, Street Band just exploded under me. And once we got to Garana and we headed her, she just kept pulling away impressively. And it was just, what an impressive win that she had. And great work by the team for Larry.
Sophie, we really appreciate it. We love the horse Street Band, and we love it when you're in town, and hope to see you real soon at the fairgrounds. And thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, you're listening to Discovering Horse Racing on WGSO 990 AM. We'll be right back.